Alright, so I had a video, but then I guess it wasn't recording, or I accidentally hit cancel. I don't know. I don't care. I can do this again. So, I heard people were shitting on Nate, so I'm all for that. So let's get to it.
Logic fail number 2.
Alright, I want you to sit here with me, alright, with the mindset. I'm going to spoil the video that he's responding to, alright? Because the latter half of the video he's responding to is about women. All of these people that were talking in the first part of the video are also in the second part talking about their experience where they were groped on public transportations and had penises slapped in their face or on their back, people jerking off to them right behind them, and the women can feel it and they just feel utterly powerless and don't know what to do in that situation. So that's the gravity of the situation we're dealing with, and Nate wants to complain and say that there's a logic fail here and that they really have nothing to complain about. You know what? I won't spoil like how retarded this is.
Today we're going to check our privilege by learning about a horrible issue concerning females in the first world. Forget the women in China or Yemen. No, they have petty issues. Okay?
Nobody said to forget their issues. Nobody's comparing them to except you. But I guess in your warped logic, you think that nobody can complain because there's always somebody that has it worse out there. So just ignore the issues and people having their penis slapped around your face because some people in China have it worse than you. So, yeah, whatever.
Hey, they don't know what oppression is. The major issue concerning first world women is guys saying things to them on the street.
I've been harassed by white men and black.
That's not the point of the video, Nate. I'm glad that you take women's issues so lightly.
Men and Latino men and Asian men.
If Nate's professors are out there, I want them to see this. I want them to see this and say, this is how Nate thinks of women. He thinks that they have no problems. He doesn't think that there might be a culture problem, that women can't go into a city with mostly white people that is, that has no ghetto, is very nice neighborhood, nice city, low crime rate, but women still have problems going to the street at night, just walking down the street or whatever because they get abducted and raped all the fucking time there. There's no problem with, you know what, just fuck it. You know what, Nate's stupid. He's not going to concede that he's wrong in any sense because in his life, in his short little life, because he's a freshman in college, he thinks he has more room to talk on the issues of women's oppression and women culture and the culture in which we treat women better than the people that have experienced it themselves. Fuck all the women that's been raped and had penises slapped on their face on the bus and shit like that. No, Nate has experience with this too, and he'll get to it later because he's an expert on being oppressed.
We have the right to walk on the street peacefully without being disturbed. It absolutely. I
mean, that should be a right, to not be constantly harassed, to have people harass you on the streets when just walking down the streets. That should be something that we can all agree on, But Nate has a problem with that.
Absolutely speaks to a power dynamic that is askew in this society.
I want to mention how sad it is to hear that woman say that. Like that she feels powerless when she goes on the street and she's in public transportation and she fears for her life because of her past experiences where a man has abused her on public transportation and gotten away with it. And Nate wants to go on here and say the fucking problems ain't shit. Just keep going.
You know what? I totally agree that harassment is a bad thing and it should be stopped. However, look at what this video tries to label as harassment.
The penis slapping in the face. Alright, let's see that.
It's about the idea that women's bodies and very presence in public space is not for us.
Oh my God! He looked at her! Rape!
Now, I know that y'all can't see what I'm seeing right now, but what happened was it showed a footage of one of the women. They're just walking down the street and they had these people walking by. And on the last frame when it was, had a transition, the guy turned to look at her. It didn't point this out in any way. It was just a video transition there at the end. Also, all the other people walking down the street were women, and that was the first man that showed up in that scene. they weren't making a big deal about that. They don't mention it any other time or anything. It's just a video transition, mostly just used to just show women walking down the street, not that they were being harassed at that moment. But Nate has to put some kind of straw man argument in there because he can't cope with trying to go against, women that have been abused on public transportation. He has to make an argument that doesn't correlate to street harassment. That's his only case here. So here we go. He has to make up these straw man arguments and say that they're complaining about one thing when they don't even mention it at all. So, that's how sad this is.
Okay, unlike these people, we're going to educate ourselves. The definition of harassment.
Alright, let's have it intervention, people. If you're going to show a screenshot of a definition of a word, you can't do like Thunderfoot does and just go on Wikipedia or Google, type in the word, and then post the first result that you have. And then say, this is the only definition that can be applied. First off, there's more than one definition. There's also different uses for the words in different parts of countries and different cultures. Also, people have their own personal definition of the words that they're using. But Nate, in his Nazi world, thinks that this is the only definition of harassment, and the next word that he's going to define through Google
is aggressive pressure or intimidation. So, unless your eyes do this, I'm not sure how simply looking at someone would qualify as harassment.
Nobody said just looking is harassment. I guess we're missing the penis in the face part. I don't know.
And even if it did, out of all those people walking, only one guy glanced at her.
Yeah, the first guy out of all the women's.
Now people, pay attention to where she's at. Notice the graffiti, worn out buildings, and beat up cars. Notice how everyone...
Cars aren't beat up, they're scooters. Bikes. This is a college town. You're retarded.
Looks pretty scruffy. She's walking around in a ghetto. It's like, really, what kind of reactions do you expect from people who reside there?
It's the fucking city, you retard! Have you never been in a city before? It's a collection of a lot of people. That's... No.
I guarantee if you were in a better part of town, you would not get reactions like that.
I don't even know if I should. I don't even know. What? You assume that she's going to get better reactions out of this if she was in a better city? I'll just go ahead. I'll do this. Okay. I lived in a college town which was full of white people and had low crime rates. Very nice city to live in. Yet women could not walk on the streets at night for fear of being raped and being abused, and it happened all the time. And it's not because it was just a thing in that area. It's across the nation. I'm not even going to go forward with this because that was the lamest argument I've ever heard. If that's your logic, if you think that, because if she was in a better area, why would it even matter where she is? She's in the city. Why does it matter? And you have no idea what the ghetto is. I really want you to go into the south part of Atlanta where the ghetto is. I really want you to go down there. And let's see if you live past 2 minutes.
Really? Calling someone beautiful is harassment? I have to ask you.
I want to know where business is set up in the ghetto. I want to know how that happens.
You SJWs, where do you draw the line between catcalling and a compliment? Is pretty okay? Is you look good okay? Or is every compliment forbidden?
Do you just go up to random women and purr at them while drunkenly walking towards them and stumbling on top of them? Is that what you do? No? Okay. Well, maybe it's not talking about you. These people feel uncomfortable walking down the streets with all of these people giving these strange reactions to them, and they don't know what they're going to be, whether they're loose cannon or crazy people. That's the problem with this, alright? They don't feel comfortable walking down the streets, you idiot. What is wrong with you? One person out of there said she looked beautiful. One person. And that's what you condone your argument on? They're just calling them beautiful. What's the problem? You're fucking retarded, dude. Like, how can... I want to know how you sit there, right? I want to know how you sit there, take these serious issues like this. This video leads on to these women, all of them, saying that they've been abused on public transportation, been groped, have been grabbed, sexually abused, have people fucking wanking their penises on them. I want to know how you had the audacity to sit there and say this ain't shit to them. You're a fucking piece of shit, Nate.
Now.
I know the way I dress is kind of provocative, but it doesn't mean that I should have to deal with it.
By definition, provocative...
Surprise, surprise, he went to Google again for this definition.
means causing annoyance, anger, or another strong reaction, especially deliberately, or arousing sexual desire or interest, especially deliberately. If you dress in a provocative manner, you should expect it to provoke people.
No. She should not expect to be groped and have penises slapped on her in public. No. She should not have this feeling that she is not safe while walking down the streets because she's a woman and she dresses in stuff that's not nun attire. Okay? You fucking idiot.
That's why it's called provocative.
Oh, this is grand coming from a guy who had to go to Google to get the definition for harassment and provocative. You're really the one to make fun of somebody else for not knowing the definition of a word.
And the thing is, you were trying to get a reaction back.
Oh, that's what it was. She was trying to get a reaction. That's not how she normally dresses. No.
You dressed in clothing that, by your own admission, is provocative, went to a bad...
Because it's what she wants to wear. She wants to wear clothes that she feels comfortable in.
Had a camera crew follow me.
No, she shouldn't. According to Nate, she should, wear a fucking mask on her head and, dress like the Muslim women or whatever in the fucking third world countries. Whatever. She should just clothe all parts of her body. All of it.
You remind me of those YouTube prank channels that go to the ghetto for reactions.
Street harassment is...
That's relevant, Nate. That's good. That's relevant.
almost like a gateway drug to other more serious forms of violence.
Wow. Slippery slope fallacy much? Looking at women and calling them beautiful does not mean it'll lead to rape. That's like saying...
Violence. And yes, it can, since studies show that it does, you retard. Who do you think are the ones that are out there doing these actions, huh? The ones who aren't doing the catcalling? Those are the ones out there doing the raping and the sexual abusing? They're saying the same people that do those, they've seen those same people do these things to them. No. In Nate's perfect world, because he has 1 year of college under his belt, he's got the perfect tools to tackle these cultural problems, because he knows exactly what kind of oppression and culture that these women live in. Yes, okay, yes, let's go on.
Oh, if we allowed gay marriage, it'd lead to marrying animals, too.
Again, slippery slope fallacy.
Those things aren't related. Making a woman fear for their lives while walking down the street might be comparable to abusing them, groping them on public transportation.
See, you committed it. So now, after this, we move on to...
You really need another class on logical fallacies. I mean, I've had one, and I can't agree with that. I know the definition. I know many logical fallacies. That's not a good case. But no, Nate, you have 1 year of college under your belt. You go ahead.
I was assaulted last year on the metro coming back from work. I got on the metro, and just when the doors were closing, a man came up behind me and shoved me into the car. And slowly, I started to feel something touching me.
Okay. What? How do you transition from people looking at you and calling you beautiful to groping on a subway? I mean, yeah, groping is unacceptable, but comparing that with people looking at you is ridiculous.
They never compared it with people looking at them, Nate. Okay, so Nate doesn't know what catcalling and street harassment is. He doesn't know what that is. Okay, because he just said it right there. He doesn't know. He thinks that it's just looking at people. So he doesn't know what this is. So everybody who's agreed with Nate up to this point doesn't know what street harassment is. You people concern me. You people online, you young people, alright, are so arrogant that you think your shit doesn't stink, you don't need to do any research, you don't need to have any knowledge of the situation. All you have to do is make a knee-jerk reaction, post your video on YouTube, and then you could be the social justice warrior on YouTube. And then just suddenly disprove all of these feminist lies. The reason why they had the street harassment go into these things is because it's a metaphor almost. It's like they're going from the streets down to the public transportation, to these subway areas. They're going from, what's seen on the surface, harassment, people catcalling, people groping, people making women feel uncomfortable, to going to lower forms that people don't always see and don't, react to and don't talk about. Groping. It's actually a really good metaphor. It actually goes along with this, with the message that they're going along with. But Nate has 1 year of college under his belt, so he knows.
It's like comparing pirating movies online to robbing a bank, or comparing coffee to crack.
Yeah.
Okay, let's recap. According to this video, catcalling is when people look at you or call you things like gorgeous and beautiful.
What? What? So, once again, he just admits he doesn't know what street harassment is. Alright.
Well, if that's the case, I've been catcalled a few times.
So you felt, while walking down the streets, you fear for your life. That's what you did. But, okay, yeah.
Each week, I'll go outside for a jog, and on several occasions, girls have stared at me or said I look good. I remember on one occasion, a girl yelled, "Woo!" as I went by. Am I gonna cuss her out, though?
Go to hell.
No. I'll take the compliment and continue my day. To conclude...
You jogged. I don't even believe this story to begin with. But you jogged, and one time somebody said woo to you. So that gives you a bit of relevance to this issue. You got some experience with it. You're comparing that to women who walk down the street, fear for their lives, have people grope them in public, have people follow them to their homes, try to put their penises on them while walking down the street, try to kill them while walking down the street. But no, you can relate to that because somebody said woo to you. There's no getting through to you people, is there? Like, you don't want to learn. You don't want to see these things. It's just black and white in your mind, and you've already created the other side of the story. So you're going to use that straw man to try and destroy it or debunk it and then become a social justice warrior on YouTube. You don't actually care about the issues. Nate doesn't care that women and, some men might be abused and this culture and society might be damaging to the people in America. Nate doesn't give a fuck about that. What he cares about is views on YouTube. That's what he cares about. What kind of asshole would sit there and seriously say that statement, that he can relate to women who've been groped, sexually abused, raped, fear for their lives, can't go in public transportation anymore because they fear for their lives because some person said woo while he was jogging.
This video, here's a short clip from YouTuber Tara Babcock.
So going back to commenting on...
I don't even know who this is, but I'm just going to say, like, this is some woman and she has her cleavage showing, which I don't care about, but somebody in the comments says, where was it? Oh, you speak so much truth, Nate, but that big tit blonde at the end probably really does only have subs because of her tits and she knows it. That's why she wears those shirts. That's your audience, Nate. That's the type of thought process that you're promoting. Now, I want to know, personally, if you don't watch the video, or if you just don't want to respond to anything or whatever, I want to know what your problem is with trying to get the culture change so that it respects women more, because that's what that's what this video wants. That's what those women want, and you have a problem with it because you're responding to it and you're saying that it's not that much shit to deal with because you had somebody say woo to you. I want you to tell me, excuse me, what's wrong with that. I feel disgusted at you. Like, I can't believe, like, if I was in this position and I said the things you said, I would feel embarrassed. I would feel bad. I would feel like an idiot. But you won't, because you got views off this. You have people circle jerking and just having a groupthink mentality. And you're arrogant. You think that in your 1 year of college, in your, 19, 20 years of your life, where you've barely experienced any hardships, that you can compare and have insightful thoughts about this subject. That you're a fucking expert on it. To diminish every woman out there that's had to deal with this. That's disgusting. If you really cared, I want you to go out, right? Go to a woman that's been abused, that fears for their life to go on public transportation because something like this has happened. And it shouldn't be hard because it's everywhere. I mean, most of the women that I've dated have been raped, have a history of being sexually abused, and fear for their lives when walking down the streets in a city. Could be any city, as long as it's populated by a lot of people. I want you to go to one of those women and say, you know, what's the deal? What's the problem with that? Just walk down the street. It doesn't matter. Just people saying you're beautiful. Why do you fear for your life? I can relate to that because somebody said woo to me one time while I was jogging. I want you to do that. And then come back to me and say that you did that and say, yeah, I'm right, you're wrong. You're a fucking dumbass. Like, people like you have a platform, right? On YouTube. I don't know how many subscribers you have. I guess you have a lot. But you have a platform to make change. And instead of doing that, you whine and complain about a fucking YouTube video. What's the point? Why did you work so hard to do this? Do you feel proud of this video? Do you feel like you've done some good for the world? You're disgusting.